hostess, and this here may be tough to you. Snack cake to me, yeah, more hostess. This been overdue forever. Asked me when it was dropping, said never. Should've made you cut the feta, but I designed it Freemason Margiela.
What's goody, Shellitronnn here, the most woke, no joking. I'm back again with a brand new video, and there is some really big news that I have to go ahead and just get right to, because this is actually a little bit confusing to me, and really this is more about me trying to get some information off you guys, because the best word to use is confused and really just lost here. There was a tweet from Ian Rappaport that just came out saying, with Graham Gano limited on Thursday with a knee injury, the Panthers signed former Bucs kicker Chandler Catanzaro to make room on the roster. They placed guard Shellitronnn knee on injured reserve. Now there's a few things on this tweet that have me lost. The first thing is, I had no idea Graham Gano was hurt. When did he get hurt? When was he injured? I don't remember ever seeing any kind of news or any kind of I don't watch all the press conferences, all the live streams of the press conferences and everyone going up to the stand and everything like that. But from what I've seen from tweets and what I've seen from the beat writers and from the things that I do read, I haven't seen any kind of indication about Graham Gano being injured, and I feel like that's something that would have been pretty important that would have been announced and released, I guess, earlier. Wasn't it Shellitronnn put on IR 2 days ago, or am I just lost with that? I feel like that happened a couple days ago, so it's a little bit strange for me to just hear about this just right now. I feel like I might remember hearing Steve Smith mention that Graham Gano came down weird on his plant leg at some point, but I don't remember him saying that it was something serious enough to keep him out of a game potentially. I feel like he just said he came down on his plant leg and it looked like he kind of winced a little bit, but it was never said in the kind of context where this might be a risky move where we have to pick up a kicker because Graham Gano may not be ready to go for this next game against the Browns, which is a make or break kind of game for the season. That video for the preview will be up very soon. I know you're waiting on that. And the last thing is, I thought Shellitronnn was put on IR earlier in the year. I can't remember exactly. Was he put on IR? I think it was week 2? Maybe week 3? It wasn't the first game against the Cowboys. I'm not 100% sure. He was a second or third string guard who got put in because we had so many injuries on our O-line to start the season. And I remember he went down very, very quickly. It may have been week 2 versus the Falcons. That's not really big news. That's more of an aside, because obviously the real news is that we picked up this kicker, Chandler Catanzaro. But I started thinking about this a little bit more, and I started thinking, you know what, maybe this actually is a smokescreen. Maybe this isn't a real pickup. This is yo, Graham, we need you to do a little better, bro, because we're bringing in some competition for you. We're trying to make it look like your job's on the line here, but just do a little better for us. Maybe a little bit more consistent for us. We need to win more of these games. So we brought in a guy who could maybe light a fire under Graham Gano. So I said, you know what, let me look at Graham Gano's stats real quick, just so I can know exactly how he's been doing. And these numbers kind of astounded me. I saw that Graham Gano's only missed 2 field goals this whole season and 2 extra points. Now, I know you want your kicker to hit all his extra points, but not every single kicker is going to hit every single extra point. There's probably only 2 or 3, not a lot in the league, who are 100% on extra points this whole season. Kickers miss these. They're not the same kind of easy field goals they used to be, so I understand. And missing only 2 field goals this season after going basically perfect last year, I can't fault the man for that. Now, one was from 30 to 39 yards, which, come on, those are very close. But one was from 50 plus, and those aren't always gimmies. We know we had the one against the Giants that we made, and that was amazing. But I can't fault a man for going 3 for 4 from field goals that are 50 plus yards. So, it's kind of hard for me to say, we got to find a way to motivate this guy. Missing 2 field goals and 2 extra points through 13 weeks. What am I going to say? Is it bad? I don't know. It's not the worst thing possible. We can do a lot worse. But then I just say, you know what? Let me see all the information. Let me make sure I get through all the data here, and I can have a full perspective on what's going on here, because maybe this Chandler Catanzaro guy is actually really good. Maybe he's actually better than Graham Gano. Maybe this is actually a pretty strong pickup. He played for the Bucs. We know about the Bucs kicking strategies. They picked up Roberto Aguayo, I think it was, 2 years ago in the 2nd round. That guy's not even in the league anymore. That's kind of tough. But I looked at this man Catanzaro's stats here, and from what I'm seeing, I am, what's the best way of putting this? Not impressed. This man has missed 4 field goals and 4 extra points this season. He has not played a single NFL snap since the 11th of November. That's a full month. That's 4 weeks in the NFL. And I said to myself, look, now it was perfect from extra point range. It's like I said, it's not a gimme anymore like it used to be. And the Bucs score a lot. So it's like, I have to understand he may have more opportunities to miss than Graham Gano has this season. But missing 4 is still a lot. But looking at his field goal percentage, he's missed 1 field goal from 30 to 39 yards. And then I noticed he hasn't hit a single field goal from 40 to 49 yards. He's 0 for 3 from that range. And keep in mind, these aren't field goals that are kicked from the 40 to the 49 yard line. These are field goals that are kicked from the 23 yard line back to the 32 yard line because it's a 7 yard snap and the end zone is 10 yards deep. So it's the yard line minus 17, or I guess the yard line plus 17. So we gotta really think about what exactly is going on here. We picked up a guy who hasn't hit a single field goal between 40 and 49 yards, has only kicked 1 field goal from 50 plus. He hit it to replace Graham Gano. I hope this injury from Graham Gano, now I don't like wishing injury on players, but this better be a serious injury if we ever put this Chandler Catanzaro guy in the game, because I'm not sure I 100% trust this man. He played for the Bucs. He got cut a month ago, and he's only just now getting picked up by an NFL team. Graham, I hope you're good to go. Now, a minute ago, you may have heard my phone make a notification sound. First of all, I need to start putting my phone on silent when I do these videos. Second of all, that notification, I just checked my phone right when I stopped recording, and the notification was from the Panthers app saying, injury news, Graham Gano ruled out for Sunday's game at Cleveland. Okay, reread it. I can confirm that I have not lost my grasp on the English language as set down by our Queen Elizabeth back in 1684. That might be the ugliest 11 words I have read this entire week. Okay, I guess it's clear to us now that this was not a scapegoat kind of thing for Graham Gano, saying these losses have been on him. This is not an issue of us trying to motivate Graham Gano and light a fire under him by giving him the impression of competition. My whole mood has changed right now. I just hope, oh man, this is not the kind of video I wanted to do right now. I was really hoping that I was wrong. I was really hoping that it was some kind of subversive move that we were making as a front office. I was really counting on it being like some kind of mental gymnastics, some sort of like 8D chess that we were playing, some kind of 34D underwater backgammon that we were playing with the rest of the league, saying, why are the Panthers picking up Chandler Catanzaro when Graham Gano is probably going to be all right to go on Sunday against the Browns? We got what we got here, and we have to do what we got to do. I don't know what exactly to tell you. I mean, all I can say is that in Week 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers played the Cleveland Browns at home, by the way. But in that game versus the Browns, Chandler Catanzaro went 2 for 3 for field goals and 2 for 3 in extra points. So of his 4 misses in both field goals and extra points, 1 of each came against the Browns. Now, I don't know if that's like a mental thing or it's more like a he's just not that great kind of thing. But also, that game was the middle game in a 3-game streak where he went 2 for 3 in field goals. So he missed a field goal in 3 straight games. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that. The funny thing is, that was a 3-point game. They won that game by 3, but if you hit that extra point, then if it came down to the last possession with the Cleveland driving, the Browns would have had to get a touchdown to win that game. You couldn't just put it into overtime. I mean, no one knows what's going to go on in overtime. Overtime is a crapshoot. Overtime is really a coin flip, and if you score a touchdown, then the game's over. And if he hits that 3rd field goal, then the Browns have to go down, and they have to get a touchdown to win the game, and also have to hit their extra point, which we can see from Chandler's stats that extra points aren't always gimmies. And it's those kind of things that even in a win, you should look at these things. There's other scenarios that might be going on. I don't know how that game actually ended, if it ended up with the Browns driving or whatever happened for that game to end. But these are scenarios that we find ourselves in a lot, where we're in close games late. And in this 4-game losing streak, I guess more like the 3-game losing streak, because the Steelers game was not a close game. But in this 3-game losing streak we've been having, they've all been close. and they've all kind of come down to the last drive for us. And we ain't do too hot in those. And sometimes it's not always about the last drive. Yeah, it can be one the last drive, but things that happen earlier in the game can have an effect on those kind of things. So while you want your team to produce in crunch time, in a clutch situation, there's some things that happen earlier in the game that can prevent those kind of situations from even ever happening at all, like hitting field goals, like hitting your extra points, like your defense playing better, offense playing better, your quarterback playing a little better. When you're a kicker and you have one job, which I'm not going to say kickers are bad or anything because they have a lot of pressure on them. They probably have the second most pressure behind quarterbacks of anybody who touches the field in football. But when your job is kicking, which I think should be out of the game in general, I think there should be no kicking at all, no field goals. You should only punt when it's fourth down and you're behind your own 35, really inside your own 30. I just hate kicking in general in football, in the NFL at least. I hope Chandler Catanzaro is a good fit for us and he can hit these field goals versus the Browns. Please, bro, hit these field goals. Hope our defense shows up. Hope our offense shows up. Chandler, we need you. Now, let me know what your thoughts are on this in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Just to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.